Give me a
What?
horror story. What's
Or
the craziest horror story
all right.
that you have experienced? You got one?
Oh, dude, I got one. So when I first started doing HVAC and I didn't know what I was doing, there was a house on the lake with a packaged gas. It was American Standard, and I was checking gas pressure, and I took the outlet screw out for the manometer, and I never screwed it back in. I just left it half a turn or
Oh
turn
my
out.
god.
And when I left, the gas turned on, or the unit did, and it blew the panels off. And it caught her ductwork and the unit on fire, and her house was full of smoke. And I was probably, I don't know, man. I don't know, maybe 19, 18, something. No, it was even maybe, I was young. Needless to say, my dad was upset, cost about 2 grand, but I've got lots of those. But that was a good one, man. That was a good one. I burnt tons of motors up.
What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you?
Craziest thing, man. I don't even know if I can remember that, but I can give you some off the top of my head.
While you think about it, I'll give you mine. I've told this story a couple times on our live show. The craziest one that I've ever done is I was working at a strip club. Now, granted, it was closed, it was in
Mhm.
between owners.
Yeah.
Talk about something odd and surreal, being the only soul in this entire building. At times, I was working in there, and I was working for a company. We were doing the electric and heating and air in there. So, I was putting in lights for this strip club, believe it or not. But anyway, while we were there, we were tracing a line. We had I forget the verbiage, but I believe they're called tracers. We were trying to find this circuit. We found this hidden entrance to this whole nother part of the building. And we went in
Ooh.
there and there were all these beds and it was like a 10-bedroom apartment is basically what it was. And who knows what was going on in there, but it was I was like, this is crazy.
I got one.
Okay, go for
Yeah. I was in that room that night. No, I'm just kidding. So I went to a trailer park one time, and there was a very old man there, and his name was Tom. And this was probably, I was a lot younger, and he was probably 80 or 90. And when I walked in, first of all, it was a no cooling call. And when I walked in, the guy got in my face and he said, "My son has schizophrenia." He said, "Don't look at him. Don't speak to him. Go to the unit and work on the unit." I said, "Okay." I walk in the house, and as soon as I step in the door, there's a man that's probably in his 50s, and he's laying on his back, and he's smoking a cigarette, looking up at the ceiling with these glasses on. The smell is like ammonia, and this is one of my pet peeves. I hate going into houses where it smells like cat pee or dog,
it.
you know what I'm
Same.
saying? Yeah. So that's one of my pet peeves is smell. If I'm about to throw up or my eyes are burning because there's ammonia, I'm out. I'm sorry. I love you. Bye bye. So I get to walking in, and there's newspapers and magazines, and they're stacked to the ceiling in this single wide trailer the whole entire way. And the house is not that big, single wide trailer. But you walk in the front door and you take a left, and then there's that L shaped counter that comes out for that trailer. And there are newspapers stacked to the ceiling. It smells terrible. I'm walking, I get to the furnace, and when I take off the bottom panel for the blower motor and the heat strips, roaches just go everywhere. I kneel down. The air conditioning's blowing. When I look in, I can see the orange glow. So I know the heater's running. So guess what I did, Joshua?
What'd you do?
I took the wire off the sequencer or off the heater. I jerked it off. I felt the air. It feels great. I said, "You have a great day. Goodbye." And I walked out. And that was one call that was probably 10 years ago. And
Wow.
that was a good one. There's a couple more. There's one time that I went to this house and they had a busted heat exchanger and I never went inside. I sold them a new unit, right? This was years ago. I sold them a new unit. I sent my crew out there to do the job. They called me back when they got the unit installed. They said, "You need to come over here." They said, "We're not going inside. We're not changing the thermostat." I said, "Okay." I get over there. I go inside to change that. Well, first of all, they said, "You need to smell this." They took the return panel back off, and I smelled it, and I was like, "Oh, ah."
Oh my
It
gosh.
was terrible. So I go into the front door, and I walk in, and it hits me, and my eyes start watering. Okay. They've got like 10 dogs in the house. But when you look at the furniture, when you start walking in, there's a recliner right there. but it's only springs. You go in this bedroom where they've got these dogs and there's a mattress, but there's just springs. There are cockroaches all over the wall where the thermostat is. I'm holding my breath like, you know, trying to get out. But those are probably the horror stories I've got for you. That's it.
I've got a couple like that too, but I mean, I'll spare you the details, but yeah, I've got a few of those as well.
Yeah.
I had one lady get really upset with me, and it was really bad in there, you know. And craziest part of the entire story was I'm the same way. I'm very sensitive to smells. I don't smoke. It's hard for me to be around that sort of stuff. And then, like you said, you know, animal feces and just all the different smells, right? So I told this lady, I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to be honest with you. You've got to clean this place up for me to be able to work in here. And it was roaches and all these things going on, right? And she, of course, told me all the reasons why, you know, she told me about some health problem she had and whatever. But she said, what do you want me to clean? And I said, ma'am, clean something. Clean something.
Your booty. Clean your booty.
Start somewhere and then just keep going. And
start somewhere and keep going, man.
Yeah. And
do you have a vacuum cleaner? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. She had a bunch of kids running around, and her mom called my secretary and was like real ugly to her. And my secretary told her, look, you had kids running around in there barefooted.
Oh, yeah, man. That's bad, bro.
In their underwear.
Oh, dude.
And
I could. Oh, yeah.
She said, ma'am, we're just refusing to do your work. I should be calling CPS, you know, but I'm not doing that. You just need to calm down and it's not a fit.
Yeah. See, I've been in one where the trailer had holes in it and you can see the ground. And then you go to the bathroom and the toilet hasn't been working for a long time. Bro, it's bad. Yeah. Those are bad. Those are pet peeves, man. Those are ones I just can't deal with, man, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the horror stories, man.
Yeah. It just sucks because it's not that I don't care. And I can tell you don't, you know, it's not that we don't care. It's just that we have our limits too, just like anybody else, you know, and it just, there's a limit here.
Yeah. You can stare over my shoulder. You know, you can be right here, like whispering in my ear. Hey, Dad, what are you doing? What are you working on? Would you just look at that? Would you look at that? You could be right there. As long as you don't smell, you could be right.
There you go.
You could, you could be just hanging on my shoulder. Just, you know,
some guys don't like.
I'm cool with that
to do that, but I've always been fine.
I love
with
that.
Yeah,
I'm like, sir, here's the unit. Right now, I'm doing this, and then I'm doing that, and this is the relay. Well, we're going to do this.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I'll train them. I'll train them.
Our best customer when I had my company was an apartment complex because the maintenance guys loved us because I was willing to show them a thing or two. So
that's awesome.